Thank you for joining us as we raise the flag in honor of our veterans. I'd first like to ask all of the men and women who have served in the military to please stand and be recognized. Thank you all for service to our great country. And now, please join me in welcoming Valerie Storms, manager of Moffitt's Chaplaincy Care Department, to deliver today's invocation. Valerie.
This morning, I would like to offer an open-eyed invocation. That means that you are welcome to keep your eyes open as I give the invocation. But if you're more comfortable bowing your head and closing your eyes, certainly do that as well. Holy One, we are gathered this morning to remember and to honor. We are remembering those men and women who have gone before us and have served our country, some giving the ultimate sacrifice as they have lost their lives. Others have not lost their lives, but they have lost parts of themselves, sometimes physical parts, sometimes mental parts. And we are grateful for that sacrifice as well. We are here to honor those veterans who have just recently stood in our midst, to thank them for their service, and to honor those who are presently serving, be they in the reserves or in active duty. It is because of these people that we are able to gather here today. It is because of them giving of themselves, their lives, their livelihoods, that we enjoy the ability to gather like this, in open, without fear for our lives. We are so grateful for what they have done. And as we continue to acknowledge these among us, we especially give thanks to those like Mr. George Kondas, who is with us today, who as a young man grew up quickly because he was a part of Pearl Harbor, that day that we describe as the one that will live in infamy. Be with us that we may live with the same compassion, the same commitment, the same focus, the same dedication to our country and its ideals as our veterans have. And may the Holy One bless and keep you. May the Holy One's face shine upon you and give you peace. Amen.
Thank you, Valerie. Now, under the leadership of Captain Ted Wasilkiw, we are honored to have the Freedom High School Navy Junior ROTC Color Guard here today to present the colors and raise the flag. The national anthem was scheduled to be performed by retired U.S. Air Force Technical Sergeant Sonya Bryson, but she was unable to join us. So instead, we are really pleased that our very own Wanda Lane has agreed to step in and give us the national anthem. So, Wanda.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red clear, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Harry, cut! High, turn, hurt! Forward, hurt!
Thank you, Freedom High School Junior ROTC, and Wanda Lane for stepping in at the last minute for that beautiful rendition of our national anthem. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Vincent Jackson, a 12-year NFL veteran and Tampa Bay Buccaneer alum. As son of parents in the armed forces, Vincent has worked tirelessly to provide support to military families through his Jackson in Action 83 Foundation. Mr. Jackson is an avid entrepreneur, now focusing most of his time as the CEO of TV Capital for Real Estate and Development. We are delighted to have him here this morning to honor our veterans. Please join me in welcoming Vincent Jackson.
Thank you, guys. Good morning. All right. It is with great respect and admiration that I am here to introduce you guys to Mr. George Kondas. At 96 years old, Mr. Condas remembers the attack on Pearl Harbor like it was yesterday. The sight of hundreds of planes flying in from every direction, the burning of the ships, the sinking of the Arizona, the overturning of the Oklahoma, the sheer chaos that he witnessed that day. Not only is Mr. Kondas one of the only surviving Pearl Harbor members, he's also a two-time cancer survivor. Give him a round of applause for that. As a military kid, I'm humbled to join you guys today. I want to thank the Moffitt Center for their great efforts, continue for the cancer research and the treatment of these patients. But I would like to invite Mr. Kondas up now as we present him with the appreciation certificate and honoring his family and his service for everything they've done for our country. Please stand and join me in welcoming Mr. Kondas. I'll hold that for you.
Okay, thank you. Well, good morning. First of all, I want to thank the Moffitt Cancer Center for inviting me here. You caught me by complete surprise. On December the 7th, 1941, I was a 21-year-old gunner's mate serving aboard the USS Tracy, a DML, destroyer mine layer, at Pearl Harbor. At 5 minutes to 8, our general quarters alarm sounded on the ship. Myself, as long as my other shipmates, were totally surprised. What in the hell are they doing sounding general quarters on a Sunday morning? So as I got up to the quarterdeck, I saw my chief gunner's mate, and I asked him, what in the hell's going on? He said, well, you know, it's that damn Air Force. They're having some kind of a maneuver and screwing things up like they always do. I said, well, shall I take the gun cover off? Because my battle station was on machine gun, 50 caliber machine gun on the flying bridge. He said, no. He said, hell no, don't bother with the cover. We'll be secured in about 10 or 15 minutes. Well, about 2.5 or 3 hours later, we were finally secured. And it's a day in my memory that I'll never forget. Right now I can see it just exactly as those planes were coming at us and what was going on. The Japanese threw 392 aircraft at us that day in 2 separate waves. So I was thankful that I survived the war, and when the war ended, I was in the island of Okinawa. We were building up a huge, tremendous ammunition depot for the planned or thought of invasion of the main island of Japan. But thankfully, they surrendered and we didn't have to use that ammunition. So again, I want to thank all of you here at the Moffitt Cancer Center for inviting me. And like the gentleman said, I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. I lost my right lung in 1981, and I had 45 radiation treatments for prostate cancer in 1985. So thank you all, and God bless you all, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Please take your seats. Good morning. My name is Dan Hodney. I am the Senior Planning Consultant in Moffitt's Corporate Planning Department. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak today, and I'm also grateful for the opportunity to represent Moffitt's veteran team members. And before I begin, I would also like to thank Ms. Nikki Inda. Thank you so much for all of your work in coordinating this great effort. Before I proceed with a few brief remarks, I also want to say how impressed I am for meeting 2 members of our nation's greatest generation and how much inspiration they provide to all of us. Sir, thank you for your service. And also, Mr. Art and Glenda, thank you for your service. Please give them a round of applause. The 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, 1918. The moment in time that marked the formal conclusion of the hostilities of the First World War, which would commemorate November 11th as Armistice Day, a day that would, in President Woodrow Wilson's words, honor the heroism and sacrifice of those who died in our country's service. But as history would demonstrate, World War I, the war to end all wars, would not live up to its moniker. and Americans would continue to be called upon to fight wars on behalf of our national interests. Consequently, in 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed into law that November 11th, Armistice Day, would from that point forward be observed as Veterans Day, changing the scope of this special day to honor all U.S. military veterans. This change also emphasized an important distinction between Memorial Day, which is the holiday to pay homage and tribute to U.S. military personnel who died in the service of their country, particularly those who died in battle or those who've died of wounds sustained in battle, and Veterans Day, a special day to thank living military veterans for their service and contributions to our national security. And from a veteran's perspective, I completed a career of nearly 26 years as an Army Special Forces officer, a Green Beret, and retired at the rank of colonel, and I'm also a combat veteran. From a veteran's perspective, it provides an opportunity for us to join our fellow Americans and reflect. But perhaps more importantly, it provides an opportunity for us to look forward and determine how we may continue to serve. Because I believe the values, principles, and ideals that we've gained from service in the profession of arms are meant to express and inspire a deeper sense of purpose to determine how we may continue to serve and how we may continue to dedicate ourselves to a lifetime of service to our country, our society, and our communities, well beyond our time in uniform. I believe that veterans continue to yearn to dedicate themselves to worthy causes and noble purposes. I believe that veterans view service to their society as a lifelong commitment. And I also believe that veterans view their values, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage as a way to advance the common good. Because we are members of our society. We contribute to diversity in our workforce, and we also may be found in every profession, every career, and every industry. And more than 100 of us are grateful and proud to serve with an incredible team as one of America's top 10 best hospitals for cancer, top ranked in Florida and the entire Southeast, the only National Cancer Institute designated comprehensive cancer center in the state, and I think we would all agree is perhaps the most purposeful, cause-driven, and mission-focused company in the nation, Moffitt Cancer Center. May God bless our nation's veterans, our service members and their families. May God bless Moffitt Cancer Center, its patients, team members, and their families. And may God bless the United States of America. As we close this ceremony, please welcome me in honoring the Moffitt Chorale as they sing some patriotic songs. Thank you.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us today to honor our servicemen and women. I would like to invite all of the veterans who are in attendance to join us for breakfast in the Stabile Research Building immediately following this program. Once again, thank you for your service. It is an honor to stand with each and every one of you every day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.